For the Dark versus Light event, we jumped straight in with the only deck we had on this account, and that was Labyrinth. And let me tell you something, in the first 30 minutes, we played 6 matches and won all 6. It was pretty interesting. I did not outline this deck for one of the 7 decks that I outlined in my video because I thought that it would not be very good at higher levels because Lady and Big Welcome are at 1, and if these cards get constantly negated by like Drytron or banished by Exo Sisters, you're going to have a really uphill battle to try to win those matches. However, if you're like in this account here and playing in maybe a little bit of a lower rank like Platinum, Diamond kind of opponents, this is definitely a viable option to deal with anything rogue because it's going to absolutely decimate pretty much everything you're going to run into. So we're going to get straight into the deck list and then look at the matches. We're playing triple King Backjack, triple Stovey Torby, triple Chandelier, and the fact that Labyrinth can still play all these power traps and still have the consistency engine rolling for it, and you're able to play like some cards that may not be good in regular format because they're just too slow, makes this deck even more powerful than it would be in regular ranked mode, right? Even though it's suffering from limitations of Lady and Big Welcome. We play the one of Ariane simply because if you get this on the field, it's draw power if cards leave the field, right? So keep that in mind. Triple Ariana. This is the card obviously you want to play. It's the Searcher. 1 Archfiend, just for tech options, a big body on board, and a Drowning Mirror Force to go along with it. 2 Lovely, since you can only play 1 Silver Castle, or Lady. Normally you'd play 1 Lovely, 2 Lady, but again, since Lady's limited, you can just reverse the ratios. 1 Pot of Extravagance, 1 Pot of Prosperity, double field spell, 1 Labyrinth setup. So if you're one of Big Welcome gets banished, you could technically recur it with Labyrinth setup. Banish face up, that is. Double Compulse, 1 Eradicator, Drowning Mirror Force, Dimensional Barrier, triple Evenly Matched, triple Imperm, double Ice Dragon Prison, triple Welcome Labyrinth, and 1 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch to go along with the 1 of Big Welcome. The extra deck doesn't really matter. You might want a Chaos Angel and a Muckracker. Everything else kind of is irrelevant. That's about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at these matches and how Labyrinth is dominating everything else in the field. I guess Platinum really is the new Gold, huh? It's a little underwhelming in this rank, but in this matchup here, we're going first. And again, these are like Platinum / Diamond opponents. We start off with the Pot of Prosperity, which is like really good. Our Excavation reveals a bunch of cards, and we actually take a Compulse here because we're going to use Ariane to ditch the Evenly, which, you know, this is also what it's good for, but it's a 1-of, so you're not likely to draw it all that much. But we don't need Evenly here. We're going to get the Ariana to field and set a Big Welcome off of it. We do have to worry about like an evenly match, but again, I'm fairly confident that I can play around it. That's why I kept the Imperm in hand and I can set the Compulse because I can, again, play around evenly matched. If you watched my videos in the last event where I used Labyrinth, you saw me playing around evenly matched all the time. Turn 1, the opponent doesn't even like try to play because they're just like, yeah, your board is too good. They were on like the Galaxy Eye stuff, which, you know, is kind of cope for this event, but hey, it is what it is. People really be on something for these events, and it feels kind of bad because you don't know if people just want to play decks that they're fond of and were good, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, or I really hope people didn't like invest points to build a deck that they think was going to be good and it's absolutely not good. But it is what it is. I mean, again, this is why you do your research and you watch videos, because the last thing you want to do is invest your points and your gems into a deck that is very frustrating to play and you can't win matches, even though it looked fun or it looked like it was going to be a good option. Now, in this matchup is a good example. I assume this opponent just had Trickstar built because, I mean, I don't think this deck was ever really that good, to be honest. I mean, I know it was good back in the day, but like since Master Duel's release, it was never a deck that you'd probably want to put together. So you'd have to be like a big fan of this deck or something in order to play it. But it's just, yeah, very underwhelming. To keep up with the power level of today's game, you definitely should be playing the modern era cards for sure and archetypes, because, you know, you can see here the control factor of Labyrinth is just absolutely decimating anything that's going to be rogue for sure. So keep that in mind. Again, some of you comment on how do I maintain so many resources. It's because I don't waste my gems and my crafting points into stuff like this. Yeah, it could be fun to play and it might be decent in one event, but most likely not, unless the deck is going to be getting support. And even if it does, it's still unlikely to compete with the archetypes of today. It can be very, very difficult. I mean, even the Chimera stuff that just came out in the TCG, it doesn't really play any of the old Chimera stuff. It's all new Chimera stuff. So it's like, you know, you just got to keep up with the times. And you know, resource management is a big thing in this game. Like, you can see this opponent literally cannot do anything, right? We know what they have in hand. We've absolutely decimated their resources, and we are in complete control of the game. And you kind of feel bad, honestly, because I think Master Duel, it would be nice if they could introduce like like formats in ranked mode. Like maybe people want to play the format where Trickstar was the best deck or one of the best decks, right? Or people want to play a format where Salamangreat was the best deck. That would be really fun because Salamangreat looks like a balanced deck, dare I say it, but I don't know how you guys feel. So yeah, I mean, we put the opponent on Nibiru only, which we don't play into as a Labyrinth player, and you can see our setup is massive, so the opponent just ends up scooping. So in this video, we are once again running into an opponent who is coping hard on like a 2014 format. We are going second, but the opponent starts off with an Executor card, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay, sure. I have no idea what these cards do, but apparently it takes a very, very long for them to combo. It took them like 10 minutes to finish their turn. Honestly, I'm better off resigning and just moving to the next match, but it is what it is. Konami, this is what people complain about in the modern game. It's like solitaire, and it's funny because like, I guess this deck didn't even put up a negate, which means, you know, you build a huge board, but you're not protecting it, so you just get destroyed by like Raigeki, Evenly, Lightning Storm, you name it, right? And so you can see in my hand here, I've got Stovey Torby, but I also have Pot of Prosperity, so I'm just like, I'm not even going to activate Torby because draw for turn, dig 6 with Pot, you know, 7 cards in, I'm pretty confident I can find an Evenly, and even if I can't, like, I'm not worried about this board because it's just a bunch of monsters. So, with like not meaningful effects. I mean, they do go into an IP, which is interesting. I don't know what they could be cooking up with that necessarily, but this is a dark versus dark matchup, so it's something to take note of. But yeah, this guy, you know, took way too long for his turn. We know that he has a spell in hand, so if we can get Eradicator in rotation, we can just definitely pop that out. And yeah, that's their turn. IP and Evil Swarm something as their interruption. Nightmare. Flip a special summon monster face down. We draw evenly for turn. We don't even need the pot. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I imagine they were pretty upset at that, but I mean, that's kind of how the modern game is. So they keep the Nightmare, and we're going to go ahead and grab Eradicator to get the spell out of their hand. We activate the Labyrinth, and then activate Stovey Torby, pitching the Backjack, and then, you know, we end on set 3. So not even coming into play is the Evil Swarm Nightmare. And we are going to go ahead and activate the Backjack first before we shuffle the deck with Labyrinth. Welcome Labyrinth, that is. And then we're going to pop the opponent's monster, activate Ariana and Stovey Torby here, and Ariana's going to search Chandelier. Then we're going to go ahead and activate Big Welcome to put Lovely on board, pop a card in the opponent's hand, hopefully not a spell. Perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and tribute away with Eradicator, pop 2 spells, leaving them on 2 cards. And then because Field Spell is up, we bring back the Lovely that we tributed. As soon as the opponent summons, we are going to activate the Ghastly Glitch that we set off of the first Backjack that we banished. And then we set another Welcome Labyrinth. The opponent ends up waiting out like the other 3 minutes that they had on their timer because they were obviously very salty. But what do you expect when you are playing a deck from 2014? This is almost 10 years later. You have been power crept out of existence, my guy.